thing for me as well, and this was another growth thing for me as well. Like I said, we're going back to that sense of entitlement. When I was going up there to work, my dad and my stepmom, like I said, they were living up there and everything like that. I'm calling my dad and I'm like, hey, I'm about to come up there and work, I need a place to stay, I'll be up there Tuesday, bags packed, I'll be up there Tuesday, make sure the door unlocked, keep the bed fresh, the whole shebang, for real though, keep the whole shebang. Yeah. Right, my dad hits me on the phone, you gonna stay here? You gonna stay here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you didn't ask. I'm like, well, can I stay there? He's like, yeah, well, no, you can't stay here. He was like, no, you can't stay here. That's what he said. He said, no, you can't stay here. And I'm like, damn, no. He's like, no, you can't stay here. And to the back end, for the longest, I always held that grudge over him. Damn. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. We on the Real Podcast. I always held that grudge against him while I was up there working, because I was wondering, out of all the opportunities that I had presented to me, right, this is the one that's going to stick. I wasn't up there for the occasional summers. This was the one that was about to stick. And you're trying to tell me the one that's about to stick, that's really about to help me propel up. I
can't even live with you.
Right, I couldn't stay with you, but the one thing that my dad always told me, and it sticks with me all the time, is just because one person says no does not mean that you cannot bring that into realization. Right. So because he was telling me, he's like, just because you're not staying here with me and Mama Sandy, that doesn't mean you still can't come up here and work. The job is still here. I didn't tell you can't work. You just can't stay here with us. He was like,
needed space.
Right, right. He was like, you're a grown ass man now. College is done with. Let's get this shit together. That's like what he said. Let's get this shit together. So that was a very humbling experience for me when I went up there to New York. Those first 2 weeks, those first 2 weeks, I had traveled up to New York with about $500 in my pocket, $500 in my Jeep at the time, Betsy, trunk and car, Jeep full of clothes and pillows. I got a local membership to Planet Fitness. I was taking baths at the Planet Fitness for 2 weeks until I got my first paycheck from them. Real live, for me to kind of put down for me to get an apartment and everything like that. That was probably one of the most humbling, grinded out grit moments, till this day. So whenever I talk to people and I tell people about what I used to do and everything like that, especially all up there, like I said, that's a nice predominant area that I was up there working in. So they hate the Hamptons and everything. Oh yeah, you up there with your dad and everything like that. I don't. We on the real, so I'm gonna keep it real with everybody, because I ain't told nobody this except for my close homies, but real live, But I was real live up there trucking it out. I was trucking it out, and I'm talking about I'm going to school board meetings. My suit is in the trunk of my car. I'm walking into Planet Fitness, right, just like this, right. Got my toiletry bag. I got my suit. I'm changing in there, and I'm walking out. I'm getting into my Jeep. I'm driving out to these board meetings. I'm trying to make sure people don't see the car that I'm driving in, so I'm parking all the way in the back. I walk all the way up to the front. I made shit happen though.
No questions.
That's commitment.
I made shit happen.
Dedication.
The biggest thing that was always in my mind when I was doing all of that was, like I said, my dad. He was sitting there saying, I'm not stopping you from doing any of this.
No question.
This is what you want to do. You asked him. Here it is. I'm not calling him up on the phone telling him not to fuck with you. I'm not picking up the phone telling him, hey man, skimp him on the pay. He said he's not doing nothing to cut me at the knees. The only thing that he's telling me is that I cannot stay with him.
That's probably one of the best things a parent can do.
Amen to that.
It's kind of like force your hand to be a man or be an independent person.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Nowadays, man,
all these kids,
kids are too handicapped.
They are too handicapped.
This shit's ridiculous. Like they don't take shit serious until it gets serious.
Yep.
Big facts.
I've even had conversations with my nephew. Shout out to them, because shout out to Andy. Man. He listen, Andy. Since I've been out of prison, man, I just seen his growth and just proud of him, man. I see so much potential in him. But I used to tell them, like, look, man, your mom ain't gonna be here forever. You know what I'm saying? Your mom ain't gonna be here forever. Cause I used to be in that mentality too until I had to be on my own. And so it's just like kids nowadays or parents nowadays, they handicap their children too much. So sometimes it's good to kind of push them out there into the world. Or force their hand, make them make decisions on their own, make them let them bump their head a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Man, so that's one. Shout out to Pops, man.
Yeah.
Shout
If you're not on the field, you're not real.
There you go.
Bam.